honestly, I wish I had like more interaction with you. I mean, I ain't coming back to Philly. I'm just saying that. This is it is what it is. I'm not coming back to Philly, but um this is like your presence in my life is actually one of the things that I miss because like it's that energy. It's that energy that you got, and it's like now things that talking to you right now. It's like even coming back to me about like when you were interested in something, you got the book on it. Like you were like, yo, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna learn how to do this. Did you actually? You was gonna do some stand up for a minute, right?
I was, and that was because of you. Because what happened was, you always said I was funny. I thought I was funny. I mean, I was listening to Jerry Seinfeld, and he said something that was so super important. He was like, "There's three levels of comedy." He's like,
Mm,
first there's making your friends laugh,
mm,
and I was always good at that. Then he
mm,
said, "Was?" Then he said the next step is making strangers laugh,
mm,
and then
mm.
he said the third thing is making strangers laugh, and they pay you for it. So, so for me, it was like, okay, I thought I was funny.
Mm,
And as you know, back at the time, Philly, we had this club down on South Street that is no longer there.
mm,
And you were like, yo, you should go and do the open mic night.
mm,
And I truly believe we could have partnered up and did some stuff because we had some funny stuff that we could have
mm,
easily just wrote down some of our conversations.
mm,
But I never really thought of it at that time like, yo, we could do this
mm,
because comedy 20 years ago wasn't,
mm,
what it is today where everybody
mm.
got a YouTube channel or some
Right.
type of social media. But
Mm.
yeah, I'd have probably do it.
But
But
I'd have been scared of that. You know how scared I.
But I think as a comedy team, because nobody saw Larry David on the screen.
Right. That's
Everybody
true.
saw Jerry Seinfeld. So,
Ah,
but
that's
they was
true.
like the best partners.
Yeah.
And I think, and we all know Richard Pryor had like great comedy writers that
Mm-hmm.
wrote for him. I mean, he had Robin Williams, he had Paul Mooney,
Mm-hmm.
he had a lot of those people.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have just been the on stage talent.
Ah, see, Matt, what? Oh, we missed that one. We
I
missed
know.
that one.
But I think you're also missing a part of something that you told me when we started doing music, and this is back in the days when you had to have like 50 million to do the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I would always try to go in with the bare bones minimum of what I needed at the time for what my
Uh,
skills was. And you was like, how? Why are you getting the XPX2? Why don't you get the XPX 3000? I was like, well, Hollis, I'm not at 3000 level yet. He's like, but you're going to be past two in like 3 weeks. So invest in the bigger.
right.
And I was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from that point on that I said, okay, I'm going to get the bigger
Mm-hmm.
because one, it'll force me to get better because I want to justify
Mm-hmm.
getting the bigger,
Right. Yeah.
So I want to thank you for that because I still do that to this day. And it's
Yeah.
something
Thank
I
you.
tell
You're
my
welcome.
kids too.
Yeah. It's interesting because I actually was telling the same exact thing to one of my friends in Montreal who makes music or whatever, and she had like this little like her sound card was like the little $50 joint,
Yep.
and I was like, man, like don't tell me you serious about making music when you showing up with this thing after you just went to Japan. Like you went to Japan on vacation, but you supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be serious about music,
Mm-hmm.
but you getting the So I mean, yeah, I think this is it. I guess it takes like a little bit of courage though to say all right, I'm really trying to do this. Like what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But
Yeah. And
I'm sorry, good.
no, I was going to say like a lot of it is fear,
Yeah.
and I know we all hear the conversations about, oh, fear holds you back and fear holds you,
Mm,
but it is so true
mm,
because I think on the other side of fear is some of the greatest things,
mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm.
you just got to get to the other side.
Yeah.
And once you do, you be like, oh snap, I was able to do it.
Mm,
People did like what I did. I did have some success,
mm,
but that fear kind of
yeah.
stops you from even trying
Right, right,
because
right.
I know for me, like when I would do a track, I would be like, I think this is decent, but I don't want Hollis to hear it because he might think it's corny.
Oh, or
And because I held you in such high regard for where your music was.
oh
You
wow.
know, because like I said, when I first met you, you were already doing music.
Right.
I had a love of music, but I wasn't really doing it.
Mm,
It was you that showed me, Kyle, you can make music
mm,
too. You
mm,
look, I'm
mm,
showing, and I was like,
mm,
yo. So my ideas started flowing, and then I was like, okay, I'm competing with I'm lonely. I'm competing with all of these other jam
mm,
monster hits,
mm.
and here I come with my little do 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 do
Nah,
do
man,
do.
you was making.
But here's the rest of it. When I would show it to you or let you listen, you'd be like, "Yo, you got a really good idea going on
Mm,
here."
mm,
And this was back in the days where I couldn't really take criticism,
mm,
but you'd be like, "You got a really good idea. I think if you were to do this, this, and this,
mm,
you'd get it to where you wanted to."
yeah, yeah,
And I was like, oh, snap.
mm,
He didn't diss me
mm,
and he gave me some feedback to make this better.
mm,
So that was something
mm,
that really kind of gave me the courage and the ability to say, yo, I can at least come up with good ideas.
mm,
They might already be close or very close,
mm.
but I can do something.
Right, right, right. Oh, all right. Well, yeah, it's interesting too because I think with the fear factor, it does help when you have someone to like to kind of push you forward. You know what I mean? Like they push you out of that. Come on, man, you could do it. Come, on, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I've actually encountered like quite a few people who are the opposite, where they try to like they might be afraid, and you talk about something that you trying to do, and
Mm-hmm.
then they automatically start like projecting their fears onto the, you know what I mean. So it's
Yeah.
I know it's really important. I think I'm starting to think that life is coming down to these two things. It's like being aware of fear and how to overcome it, and then
Mm-hmm.
just surrounding yourself with good people. Like
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
like because you know, like if you're around the good people, they're gonna help you get over the fear.
Yeah.
You know what I
And then
mean?
exactly. And when you around the fearful people, but you've been around non-fearful people,
Mm-hmm.
you seem like the oddball out. Um, Prime example. Like I said, my wife's doing the bakery, so I'm holding down a full-time job to help support that as this thing grows. But I have two daughters, and
Mm-hmm.
one of them is an amazing drawer. She's a
Mm-hmm.
dude. She's 12 years old, and she just kills it. She can see something, draw it, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at the day job talking to a coworker, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I want my daughter to take this class. It really teaches some fundamental stuff because she has the natural, but I want her to make sure she can understand some of the fundamentals." Because she might be great one day. She might wind up doing animation. She might
Mm-hmm.
wind up being like the art director of Disney
Mm-hmm.
or something, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And he was like, or she might realize she doesn't like to do art, or she realizes that that's an impossible job to get, and she might just wind up doing something else in a different career. And I just looked at him and I was like, I got to disagree with you on that because I've had a lot of people tell me things I couldn't do that I have done.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you think that it's not possible
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean it can't be possible. Then I hit
Mm-hmm.
him with the, you never know who you're raising, and the stuff that you put in them kind of helps propel them either good or bad. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Oprah Winfrey's mother didn't know she was raising Oprah Winfrey.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
it just happened, be it
Mm-hmm.
the good or bad that her mother put in her.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who you have under your wings as a
Mm-hmm.
parent.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give her every best opportunity. So get your little fearful self
Yeah.
over there and
Yeah.
stay over that place.